What's up everyone, it's me Ollie, and today I want to talk to you guys about the outlook for Barbarian for the Season 11 of Divine Intervention for Diablo 4. Now, the outlook, it's quite decent for Barbarian. We're likely to be one of the best classes this season. Of course, there's some things we don't fully know, but Barbarian got a massive amount of buffs. We got basically all our Paragon legendary nodes buffed. We got our strength, instead of being a one times multiplier, it's instead of being basically 1% per 10 strength, it now is 1.1% per 10 strength. You got the big buff there. We got a bunch of additive stats, because everyone got 25% extra stats thanks to quality, but Barbarian has more weapons. So Barbarian gets more offensive stats, so you benefit a lot more from that. Especially Earthquakes benefit a lot with the new GA2 tempers, right? Because getting those Earthquake tempers going high, it's insanely good. That's why we see Earthquakes here, right? Earthquakes are really good this season. So yeah, anyway, let's actually get into the tier list. I jumped into this one. For overall endgame, we're gonna have our Earthquakes and Bash. Honestly, either Leap or the Earthquake build is mostly gonna be Leap. You also gonna be playing without a bit. All the Earthquakes builds now play without it to some degree, even Whirlwind for pushing. But yeah, Earthquakes, either Leap or Whirlwind, they are both really good builds. They eventually both play either Leap auto or Whirlwind auto for pushing, because you need to explode the Earthquakes for extra damage. Lunging Strike Barbarian is still one of our top tier builds, right? It's likely gonna be our best pushing, we're gonna cover that in a second, but it's still one of our top tier builds. Bash is basically lunging but slightly worse, but if you like Bash, you can play Bash. The one thing that's standing out here is Auto. Auto is really incredible now. The big reason, Auto's already decent last season, and the big reason it's still quite good, it's because Ramadladness but still applies to everything. No matter what weapon you're using, Ramadladness still applies. I know the patch notes said otherwise, but that was just them changing. I don't know the full exact explanation, but they have told people that it still works the same way it did in Season 10, aka it still affects all the skills no matter what weapon you're using. I'm personally not a fan of that, although it's good for Barb. I don't feel it's quite good for dual wield, because there's no reason for you to use dual wield at all, but hey, anyway, that's another talk. We're also gonna have Mighty Throw, still a decent build if you like that playstyle. We also have Kick here. Kick is gonna be a very decent build. There's a lot of quirks that Kick had. Supposedly the patch notes addressed it. We'll have to see how it actually performs in the field, but if it performs well, playability wise, it packs a big, I was gonna say big punch, but you know, it's actually a big kick. But yeah, we also, every other build is kind of a bit tier for Barbarian for the most part. We don't really have super bad builds, but most of them are like B, C tier, but we have a bunch of really strong builds this season. When it comes to pit pushing, not pit pushing, I guess in the beginning it's gonna be pit pushing, right, because we don't have tower. When it comes to pushing, first of all, the support Barb is back. If you want to play with a friend, or if you play in a group, support Barb is insanely good. The reason support Barb is at the top of S tier. Why is support Barb at the top of S tier? Because support Barb is worth 3.5 players. By that I mean you do 3.5, the Barbarian gives you a 3.5 times multiplier to your allies. The support Barbarian. It's insane. Support Druid is also very decent, but support Barbarian is insane thanks to the change to Fields of Crimson and a couple of other niche stuff. Support Barbarian is insane. Granted, this is not everyone wants to play a support, especially in Diablo. There's not a lot you can do as a support if you are not playing with someone else. This is mostly for pit. That's kind of the only reason we only have it on pit, because you're not really, maybe, you know, if you want to help to do a lot of bosses with your friends early on, Just get the, whenever you go to bosses, swap to the Barbarian support. Even if you just can cobble a couple things together, even just putting a Fieldsome Crimson just makes your mates do a lot of damage to the bosses. So there's some usability there, but generally this is just for the pit. But hey, if you like to play with friends and you like to push high pits with friends, this is gonna be it for you. Other than that, lunging is still king. For Barbarian, lunging is still king. Even being conservative, lunging will already be doing 115, it will most likely do above 120, I would not be surprised if it goes up to 125, and depending on how Sanctification works, because there's all the now you can get Mythic, now you can get that and that, we don't fully know because it was Omega nerfed on the PTR, there's a lot of things that didn't quite get added properly. Now they supposedly everything was added properly, we'll see, but best case scenario, we're gonna see lunging doing 130. If you can get all the mythics and stuff like that, it's probably not gonna be easy, it's just gonna be the juters doing it, but lunging might even get to 130, you know. Realistically 115, but 130 you might. There's the possibility, okay? I'm just saying it so you don't get surprised. Likely 115, 120 is where everything is gonna be at though. Bash is, again, it's basically lunging, but slightly worse. It is what it is. Earthquakes are making... Is it the... Yeah, last season they were decent, right? But Earthquakes are very strong. They're not strong as lunging, but you're gonna be seeing Earthquakes doing anywhere from 110 to 115 quite easily. 120 again is also possible depending on how Sanctification ends up working out, but it's just gonna be amazing for pushing. You got the leap, you can just create like 3 or 4 earthquakes per second now with leap, it's insane. And Whirlwind, you're gonna be playing Whirlwind auto, same thing for leap by the way, it's leap auto. It's just gonna be spinning auto on the Whirlwind, and Earthquake is just gonna be leap auto, leap auto. It's just it's fun. Earthquake, it's probably gonna be the build that feels like... One thing I do want to mention, pushing lunging feels like ass to play. It's gonna be strong, but it might even be worse than last season with the double basic. If you don't care about pushing the top, just go either leap Earthquake or Whirlwind auto Earthquake, and you'll be much better. But hey, you can also go auto. You can just go auto. Auto is also very strong now. So if you want to push, auto is also a very good thing for you to play. Again, kick is here. Kick can do insane amount of damage. If it will be properly playable or not is something we can't know for sure. So we know, take kick with a grain of salt, but hey, it might just be a dark horse for us. Mighty Throw is always a very decent pusher, but you know, not a lot of people like it. Frenzy is just another... Frenzy and Flay is just other basics, but worst. Double Swing is decent. Personally, I would put Minion Barb up here, but we are being a bit conservative on it, because there's some weird stuff for Minion Barb, but Minion Barb you'll probably also see doing 100 plus, most likely. Same with Mighty Troll, same with all of this. This one's here, down here, with the exception of Minion Barb, they'll be most likely struggling to get 100. But, you know, they're still fine builds anyway, so, you know, if you like them, they're still playable. When it comes to speed farming, right, Earthquake is just the top dog. Earthquake, we are being a bit conservative with Earthquake when it comes to speed farming, because there was a couple of things on the PTR that needed fixing. Supposedly they got fixed, but we didn't get full-on confirmation of everything, right? So it likely will be the best speed farmer, but you know, just... Even if it's not the best, it's still gonna be one of the best, 100% for sure. Behind it, not as good as Leap Earthquake, but both Lunging and Whirlwind Earthquake are also very good speed farmers. If you like their gameplay, they are very good overall builds for you to play, both of them, really good builds. And the other ones, Auto is still a decent farmer, Mighty Throw, Rupture as well, very decent farmers. Bash, Sadly, it can't keep up with lunging. It can do a lot of other things almost as good as lunging, but speed farming is not one of them, so it's down here. Same for the other basics. Minion Barb is also very clunky for farming. That's why it's all the way down here, even though it does good damage. And everything else, you know, it is what it is. They are just not good farmers. Honestly, personally, I would put Thorns in F tier, but you know, that's just me. But yeah, if you are more interested in bossing, we can go over that real quick here as well, just in case. Oh, I clicked the wrong one. That's not bossing. I was like, oh, that shouldn't be here. Wait, did I click the wrong one? Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go. I was not being able to click it. So for bossing, Alta is gonna be really strong. Alta, it's really easy. It's relatively easy to gear. Okay, not really easy, relatively easy to gear. And it's gonna do bosses just fine. Lunging and bash are a bit harder to gear because you need to get shard. You need to get you're gonna have to get, by the way, you're gonna have to get Ramalanis for every single Barbarian build, but you know, there's a lot more to get for the basics to start working, so it's a bit harder there, but they're still very strong bosses. Kick, again, you'll be bursting things down. It's just a question of how playable it will be. Earthquake builds are very strong for bossing. Earthquake is slightly better than Whirlwind Earthquake, but they play mostly the same. But Earthquake, it's much easier, especially early on, to get going. Mighty Throw, as always, you have the one-shot build, it's really decent for bosses, so why not? Everything else, as you can see, is still gonna be decent, but I would recommend just, especially for bossing early on when you want to get your mythics, stick with either S or A, because at that point you don't have mythics, you don't have anything, and bosses can be quite tough. So going on the bosses is where I cannot recommend you to play any Barbarian build. Play one of the S or A tiers, because that will just make bossing much easier. Either Earthquakes or Basics or Alta would be my recommendations. Mighty Throw and Kick are a bit of a gamble sometimes. But yeah guys, that's gonna be it. Barbarian is looking incredibly good this season, and mind you, like I said multiple times in this video, we are being somewhat conservative because we don't know the full extent of sanctification, especially when it comes to mythics. Like if you go to any of our planners, any of the guides whenever they come live, none of them are currently using any mythic sanctification because we don't know if it's gonna be as rare as a mythic. There's no way we can recommend that to people, right? So we're being a bit conservative there, but depending on how the mythic stuff works out and stuff, Barbarian is the build that takes the biggest advantage out of sanctification, right? If sanctification can really get broken, Barbarian will be at the forefront of exploiting it. Exploiting in a, you know, okay way. It's not actually exploiting, but you know, we're gonna be strong as hell. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. I'm gonna be publishing the video for Whirlwind, the build guide for Whirlwind, most likely tomorrow-ish. And then I might upload another video that I meant to make for a couple of seasons now, but I've never got to run to it. But yeah, and then we're gonna wait for the season and whatever they got to reveal us. On that what's it called, Games Awards, you know, maybe we actually get to play another class instead of Barbarian this season, who knows. that's big copium, but you know, a man can dream, right? A man can dream, all right, a man can dream. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like and, you know, subscribe for more Barbarian stuff in the future, and you know, other classes, I guess, if they announce something, I don't know. But yeah guys, thanks for watching, and yeah, see you next time. Make sure to leave me a compliment in the compliment section down below. Bye bye.